Thank you for watching Sunday Kickoff. I am Fidel Barraza. Alongside with me, Jerry Martinez, Walter Stringer, and Tarian Rogers. How you guys doing?
Doing great, bro.
Great.
I mean, the turkey was good, but I'm upset, man. Like, like Drake said, I'm upset, and I have my reasons.
And we'll get to those reasons here in a bit. Hope everyone out there had a nice Thanksgiving. Back to work tomorrow for most of the people. So enjoy today as your last final day of the week off. All right, let's get to these quick recaps of Thursday's Thanksgiving games. So Bears beat the Lions 16-14. The Raiders beat the Cowboys in overtime 36-33 in the thriller. And the Bills beat the Saints 31-6. Gentlemen, any comments on any of the games on Thursday?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let me drag the Lions for a hot second, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. And I touched on this in the pregame show on Thursday. You're not gonna win too many games not being able to correct 20 points. So on Thursday, that marked 10 straight games where the Lions were held under 20 points. Now, people have complained about, they haven't scored over 20 points since week 1 against Frisco. So with that being said, how many games you really expect to win like that? And people been bashing that defense all season. The defense has progressively gotten better. The offense has progressively gotten worse. We've been able to run the football, play just enough defense. We found some young gems in Aleem McNeil, Levi Wuzarike. We're solid in some areas, still need some linebackers, but for the most part, how can that do? How can you do it? And then, of course, Dan Campbell. On the biggest stage, the biggest stage. Every household around America is watching you, and you and the coaching staff let America know that you don't know the rule book. Multiple plays, and you openly tell the media here that, hey, we're learning on the job. You get a 6-year deal with all that money to learn on the job. That's only this organization, everyone. That's only this organization.
Ouch.
Let me ask you this though: does their fight inspire you though as a fan?
No,
Like,
it don't.
I'm saying
no, because at the end of the day, Major, at the end of the day, even if you have a young team, nope. Even if you have a young football team, you can coach them up as much as you want, run them into the ground, let them know, listen, we're building towards something, we're working towards something. But at the end of the day, if those kids don't see wins start to develop, they're not going to buy into it anymore. People only buy into wins, period. And if you look at what's going on here with him, like I said before, it's a hard sell going winless and keeping your job. But it's an even harder sell to fire someone 1 year into a 6-year deal.
So what do you think happens?
They pretty much painted themselves into a corner dealing with Campbell right now.
Yeah, but you got to give him a break, man. That him and his defensive coordinator were both positional coaches. They've never been offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators. Just
Jerry, listen.
Positional.
We lost 3 games. We lost 3 walk-offs this season. All 3 of those walk-off games we lost due to coaching decisions in the fourth quarter. It had nothing to do with the players at all. It was coaching decisions.
Man, I understand the frustration, but I'm just saying. Like, I mean,
Jerry, you don't understand the frustration. You have titles. now, granted, those titles were, a couple decades ago. Fresh Prince was still actually in real syndication, live syndication.
I think I was 9 and 10 years old when those titles were going around.
When Troy Aikman was running around the field, wagging his finger and everything.
yeah. Well, Michael Irvin was making plays, but anyways, yeah. I mean, look, I understand the frustration. I've always been I've always paid attention to the Lions from afar. For years, I had a neighbor who's from Michigan, from the Michigan area, and he would always try to convert me to be a Detroit Lions fan. And my alma mater, La Feria, Lions. We're Lions here. I mean, our high schools had the same lion on their helmet, So I've always paid attention to these Lions. I kind of like this regime that they got, but yes, you're right. They got to get their stuff together. It's almost unacceptable to miss those little things and then openly admit that kind of stuff. But hopefully they'll start to pick up some steam the right way. I mean, what did you say? Who's left on their schedule that you think that they could possibly sneak a win from?
Nobody.
Or tie again.
Or tie against? No, nobody, man.
Well, okay. Well, who's left on the on the remaining schedule?
In no particular order, we've got
Yeah.
a trip to Denver.
Okay.
We got a trip to Atlanta.
Okay.
We got Arizona here. We got Green Bay. We got Minnesota. Actually, we got Minnesota coming up next week too.
So Atlanta's probably the only one that maybe, but
Atlanta throws the ball too well.
Yeah, true. But I think here's the thing too. You guys got to solidify your skills positions too, right? Because it's like the wide receivers. I haven't heard of none of y'all wide receivers. TJ Hawkinson's a good guy. DeAndre Swift. Outside of that, it's like who? The cabinet's kind of bare. So going into it, I never really had that big of a like. I didn't really think too much of them to begin with. Like Tyrell Williams was your number one receiver going into the year. Like what?
Exactly. And Breeshaw Perriman was the number 2.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of gotta get more skills because you can't really expect more than 20 points from a group of guys that just are castaways. Like I never. So the fact that's why I asked you the question I asked you about fight, because at least they with that roster you would expect them to be bad, but I would expect them to be like blown out bad, right? They're not getting blown out; they're fighting. And they're fighting with what they have, and what they have is not a whole lot. So it's like I don't really expect a lot from them to begin with. I didn't expect this, so that's why I'm saying like at least encouraged by that.
Yeah, I mean I'm encouraged by the players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The young players out there. I think my disappointment and my frustration is aimed more at Dan Campbell, not necessarily the players. The players can only do what they can do out there.
But it makes sense because I mean, if you look at the way Calvin Johnson abruptly like kind of just retired, and then you look at one of the best running backs of all time, right? He just abruptly retired. I mean, that's kind of like a trend, and then you're kind of seeing like kind of what's going on right now, like what's going on. Is there something in that organization that we don't understand fully yet? Is there somebody stopping that organization from being able to reach their full potential? So it's a lot of what ifs there, but I mean, overall, I don't know, man. Jared Goff's not the answer, and I hope you guys don't get put into a situation where you guys get that first pick and get forced into drafting a first-round drafting a quarterback with that first pick overall. You would hope that they will continue building up the team the right way, and then with their second first-round pick, maybe go in and take one of these quarterbacks later on. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yep. It was Thanksgiving. No ankles was on the menu, so that's good.
No kneecaps.
Or kneecaps.
No kneecaps.
Hey, I got to talk about this Raiders offense really quick. It finally showed up after being gone for about 3 weeks. They finally got Deshaun Jackson involved. He had a big game. Darren Waller was hurt, but it looks like it's not going to be anything serious, so he's going to be good. Josh Jacobs had a tremendous game as well, and that defense played. I mean, they played well. I mean, especially that defensive line getting pressure on Dak.
Yeah, well, for me, like my biggest issue with the Raiders, like we're gonna say his name, Henry Ruggs. They haven't been the same since they lost Ruggs because they can't break separation. It doesn't seem like. So you got to kind of help Carr out in a lot of different ways by using some of the guys that you have. Foster Moreau, they never use Foster Moreau. I don't understand why they don't use Foster Moreau. What I liked to see and what I was encouraged by seeing was Marcus Mariota packages on the goal line. The read option. Use them like Taysom Hill. You have a lot of stuff to your disposal. Why don't y'all use it? Like you have Kenyon Drake, line him up against a linebacker and do one-on-one. We did that play with Jacobs and he dropped the ball, but it was just more creativity, finding different ways to use Deshaun Jackson, which they've been trying to do over the last few weeks. That's really to me the difference between the Raiders winning and losing. I've heard from different sources that Tom Cable's been jumping in play calling duties. I don't want Tom Cable nowhere near play calling, right? Keep one consistent play calling and just do that, right? But it's just finding an identity. Raiders had no identity the last 3 weeks. Now they're kind of getting back to the identity they had when they were winning, and that's literally it. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we just wanted to see Derek Carr make some plays, and he did on Thursday. So I was happy to see that. And now they're back on track to possibly make a run at the playoffs. So
Yeah, I think having Deshaun Jackson helps out a load because he gives you the ability to get easy touchdowns, which is what Henry Ruggs did, before the situation happened. So it's easier. It's much easier to win games in the league when you can manufacture easy touchdowns. When you got to constantly march the length of the field, and I think that's a big issue that the Denver Broncos tend to have offensively. They're forced to constantly march the length of the field, the full length of the field. Therefore, passing numbers look good, completion percentages look good, red zone numbers, and third down percentages never look good. So, I mean, I'm rooting for you guys, man. Like that roster been through hell this season, man. Hell, and Derek Carr, one hell of a leader.
Yeah. I mean, good job, Raiders, right? I mean, I'm not.
He's Jeremy Jerry. You good?
Good.
I'm
Say it
just
with your
He's
chest,
double
Jerry.
T. He's straight.
Say it
no.
with your chest, Jerry.
Well, good job by the Raiders, man. I mean, they found the weakness in the Cowboys secondary and they attacked it all the way to the very end. It's just one of those things. I think it just comes down to your coach being able to expose that and use it to your advantage. So, with that, I think how many penalties was it? 28 penalties for a combined 276 yards. So I mean that right there, anytime that after a game you see, especially like on all the social media outlets, even friends on my Facebook, their timelines were full with the yellow flags, right? Like this is BS, but then when you go on Twitter and you got a little people a little bit more professional that actually do this for a living, they're all you see is penalties being talked about a game, that means that game was not a good game overall. And then you never really want it to come down to it, but in the end, the Raiders got smart and they just outsmarted the Cowboys, outcoached and outworked the Cowboys, and Cowboys have they got some holes they gotta fix, man. I mean, they gotta get that secondary fixed, across from Trevon Diggs. They got to fix their offensive line, and they gotta get a little bit more efficient as far as scoring. I mean, getting first downs, because all the cards were against the Raiders in this. I mean, you guys even lost the coin toss. You know what I mean? You got. I mean, there's other situations also within the game where it's just like, wow, everything's going in the Cowboys' favor to win. And Cowboys just came up short, and that's what, three teams now in the AFC West that have defeated the Cowboys: the
yep.
Broncos, the Chiefs, now the Raiders. Just shows you, man. I mean, this is too much. I don't know if I mean, luckily the Cowboys are in a weak division with the NFC East, so yeah, they could still make the playoffs, but they're one and done. I'm telling you right
Hey,
now, and
what's
that's
up with Zeke going for it?
I really don't know. I know that he was trending immediately after the game or the last couple of days. But from what I've seen, what I've been able to research is that it has to do with his knee. He has something to do with his knee. So they're talking about benching him, to give him some rest, especially now that we got a different, we have more of a lengthy schedule, a lengthy season, right, with games played, that maybe some of these players would have to take rest, and I think he would probably be the first one to do so. But that's all I've seen.
And then also too on that Bills and Saints game, well, the Bills suffered a huge loss, not in the actual losing the game, but losing Tre'Davious White for the year with the torn ACL.
That's
So that's
horrible.
definitely going to hurt that defense.
Yeah, it's horrible. He's probably one of my favorite corners out there right now in the league right now. I just love his play style, but dang, he definitely held down one side of that defense. In
Yeah.
fact, I think if anything, he made that defense better. Just because he is a true ball hawk and could literally shut down one side of that defense. He could shut down that one side of the field. So that's a big blow. But I'm pretty sure the Bills have that type of offense that can just continue to score and score and score, that no defense can catch up to them.
All right, and let's go through the injury list for today. These are players that are going to be out for today's game. AJ Brown, Jeremy McNichols, Rashawn Evans, Antonio Brown, Jordan Howard, Sterling Shepard, Calvin Ridley, Shaquille Griffin, Eric Ebron, Joe Hayden, and Michael Carter. Players that are expected to play today are Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, James Robinson, Darius Slay, TJ Watt, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bradley Chubb, and Dre Greenlaw. So those are your ins and outs for today's games. And now let's turn it over to Turion. He's got some great fantasy advice waiting for us. So
yeah. So for me, I'm looking at all the games today. The Texans and Jets game. It might not be a highly televised game, but it's a game that they got a lot of sleeper players in there. You just mentioned Michael Carter being on the injury wire list. I'm looking at Ty Johnson. I'm looking at Tevin Coleman. Somebody has to replace him. The Houston Texans aren't a gangbuster defense, and on the other side, I'm thinking about getting rid of Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to drop Ryan Tannehill. He's lost too many offensive weapons, way too many. He has a Patriots defense today that's just bad. So what quarterback are you going to replace him with? I'm looking at what's the quarterback on the Texas quarterback's name? Tyrod Taylor. My bad. Yeah, brain fart. I look like him too, so that's the crazy part of me not even knowing his name. Like
boy, are you going to play today? Are you going to play well? So
I'm going to play very well, actually.
Are you going to play well?
But yeah, Tyrod Taylor. Yes, I expect Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. That's the one thing about him. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He if you're in a PPR format, he scores a lot of running touchdowns. So if you have a Ryan Tannehill and you need a quarterback, you got a quarterback on bye. He's a guy that I would consider throwing out there because again, Jets defense isn't very good. A defense and a game that I'm looking forward to that I think is going to be a very high scoring game is going to be the Minnesota Viking game. The Vikings and the 49ers game to me is going to be a very high scoring game. I like Brandon Ayuk in that game. Brandon Ayuk the last couple of weeks have really come onto his own in the offense. He started off slow and he's been gradually getting better. He was available in a lot of my waiver wires this week. So if you didn't pick Brandon Ayuk up or if he's available, pick him up, scoop him. I think he's going to have a solid game. If you have Brandon Ayuk, start Brandon Ayuk. And anybody in that game is going to has a potential to score, in the double digits. And also I'm looking at the Packer and the Rams game. I think that game has the potential to be a high scoring game. The Matthew Stafford reports are kind of scary, with the back, the neck, we don't know what's wrong with him. He's like Ezel from Friday, his back and his neck. But once he figures out what's okay with him, I think Van Jefferson actually will have a pretty good game. Robert Woods, he's been out and nobody has replaced that Robert Woods role, the short dump off out of the backfield. I think that's going to be Van Jefferson in this offense. So I think Van Jefferson, if you're in a PPR format, I think Van Jefferson has a really big game. And on the other side, the Packers, I think they're gonna highly run the ball. It's gonna be cold. I like AJ Dillon in this game. Aaron Jones is still gonna be out. I think in the cold and with Aaron Rodgers' funky toe hurting, AJ Dillon's gonna have to run the ball. So I think those are my guys. This week. And I don't know if I said this before in the Jets segment, but I like Elijah Moore in that game. I think Elijah Moore is gonna be the high scorer in that game.
All right.
Question.
What's up?
Quick question about that. Now it's been reported that cornerback Chris Stokes from Green Bay Packers, he's supposed to be shadowing Cooper Kupp today. So is that another big reason to maybe sit Kupp today?
No, I'm not. You never sit Cooper Kupp. If we know one thing, is that Matthew Stafford loves Cooper Kupp, right? OBJ, I'm curious to see what OBJ does as well today, because he's another element to that offense that we need to see more of. But I think Cooper Kupp's going to get his. You never sit a Cooper Kupp.
And I have two questions or two players that I wanted to get your feedback. Nico Collins of the Texans and Robbie Anderson. Should we be picking these guys up for the next couple of weeks?
I like Robbie Anderson. The difficulty with Robbie Anderson is now you have the Cam Newton element, and he's going to be running the ball a lot. You got Christian McCaffrey back. So Cam has targeted Robbie Anderson. He's been averaging 6 targets per game, but he hasn't really been doing much with those targets. So it's kind of a iffy thing, but we're in that situation where if you need a wide receiver and you need somebody to pick up, because we've been seeing a lot of receivers go down, the Titans receivers are down. Robbie Anderson wouldn't be a bad pickup. As far as Nico Collins, again, the game today, with the Jets, I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, because both defenses aren't very, very good. Walt mentioned earlier that Zach Wilson will be back today. So I think it'll be a shootout, and with it being a shootout, that's a game I wouldn't sleep on. You look at it, you may not watch the Texans and Jets game, but for fantasy purposes, I like a lot of their players. So Nico Collins is a guy I think that could do some damage today, but today only. I would only like him for today only, not any other matchup, but today.
Why do they call Robbie Anderson a island boy?
Because he looks like one. He looks like him. He looks like one of them Jamaicans from off Bad Boys, the second Bad Boys, the one in Miami.
But no, can you get a picture up?
He looks like one. Have you seen him?
Yeah, but I'm gonna see if Fidel can.
He got the don't be. He got the Marlon Wayans "Don't Be a Menace."
But I was seeing if he could get a picture up for our audience real quick, just so.
Robbie Anderson
of Island Boys.
Oh, Island Boy. All right, hold on.
I don't know how to sing the song, so don't ask me. Maybe Ken knows. I don't know.
Because you're an island boy.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry Hunt, what can we expect from Kareem Hunt with him being activated today for the Browns for the night?
If you're the Browns, you gotta run the football. I don't know what's the problem. But if you're the Browns, you gotta run the football. Because that's the only way that you can really be effective. I know I know with Baker, he's been struggling with injury. A guy I can see having a big game for them is Jarvis Landry. He gets open, but again, knee injury. He's been dealing with some injuries. Donovan Peoples-Jones might be fueled by the Michigan game. I don't know, but that's the only effective way I can see the Browns winning is running the ball. You have to run the ball, with all the injuries.
You guys see the picture?
Can you do a side by side with Robbie Anderson? Because I don't want to seem like I'm roasting this cat. Like his hair is really like that.
But he looks like him. Look.
That ain't Robbie Anderson. It's Jake
That's
Paul.
Island Boy. All right. That's enough of that. All right. All right. Let's pick today's games. We actually got some pretty good games on the menu for today. All right. Let's start off with the Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots. Right now, the Patriots are 7.5-point favorites. This line did go up this morning. Of course, we know A.J. Brown's going to be out. He's going to be on IR, so he will be missing the next 3 weeks. Who do you guys like?
Patriots.
What was the game?
Tennessee Patriots.
Oh, Patriots. Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah, let me have the Patriots. I think they actually have one of the higher third down percentages out there. I think they're getting a first down. Like I think it's almost 59%. That's their actually third down percentage. So they're actually converting on third down.
Patriots going 27-17. The Titans got a lot of injuries. We cannot sleep on them. Mike Vrabel, he knows the Patriots. He's 2-0 against Bill Belichick, so we cannot sleep on them. I know they're missing A.J. Brown, Julio, and Henry, and a couple of stars on defense. It's gonna be a slugfest. It's gonna be a close game to start, but I think we'll pull away late. We're gonna get out to a slow start against Tennessee. I really feel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take New England too. I think Tennessee just got too much bad luck going on with them right now. And if you look at the Patriots overall, and going back to before the season started, I felt that team had a strong shot to win the division and actually had a shot of making it out of the AFC for a couple reasons. One big reason, the fact that defense I felt was actually championship caliber. So if you have championship caliber defense, an opportunistic championship caliber defense, you have a championship winning head coach, and he's in a situation where he has a quarterback that's going to drive the car and do exactly what he needs him to do. I think the Patriots' whole situation is very Belichick and young Brady-ish, for lack of a better term, Brady-ish. But, yeah, I like what the Patriots got going on right now. I think it's going to be a close game, given the fact that Titans defense is still so good, and they can still bring pressure with just 4 guys. So I think New England's going to still have issues scoring also. But I'll take New England in the close game, maybe 17-10.
Yeah, and on my end, it's the way that Ryan Tannehill looked last week. I just don't trust that. I don't trust the way he looked last week. The Patriots defense was much better defense. I don't have it being that close. I'm gonna say 27-13. Well, that's a bold prediction.
Yeah,
By
that
I
is.
want to see you.
Wanchai.
Yeah.
But I just don't trust what I've been seeing from Ryan Tannehill. I can't name a guy that he's throwing to currently right now. Dontrell Hilliard, we mentioned fantasy football. Dontrell Hilliard, if he has a good game today, which he was targeted a lot last week, if he has a good game today, he's a guy that I would consider picking up off a waiver wire. But I just have too many questions. I have more questions than answers than I do with the Titans. What Kendall said is going to be key. Vrabel always plays him tough because he is familiar with Belichick. That's basically his brainchild, but he just doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have a Derrick Henry back there. He doesn't have, AJ. He doesn't have Julio. It's just a hard matchup, especially with the Patriots. So I'm going 27-13 Patriots.
Yeah, I like the Patriots, and I like the Patriots by a lot today. I think Bill's gonna remember the last couple games that they played against Tennessee, and I like that New England defense, and I think Ryan Tannehill he's gonna have a long day. Maybe a couple picks for Ryan. All right, next game. New York Jets at the Houston Texans. Right now, the Houston Texans are 3-point favorites. Under over. Oh, that's right. I forgot the other one. Under over on this one is going to be 44.5.
I'll take the under on it, and I'll take the Jets to win.
Yeah, give me the under, and I don't know why, but I do feel that this was actually going to be my upset pick. Was the Jets?
How do you call it? Is that an upset? Like
I don't know.
Well, I mean, because you look at the
is there an upset in this game?
You look at the Texans. It's just like like Jets haven't had that quarterback. I mean, Zach Wilson hasn't played since what, like 3 weeks now.
These missed 4 games.
He's missed 4 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, you wouldn't expect them to be ready, but I do expect them to be ready. And they're without Michael Carter. So yeah, to me it is an upset.
Yeah, well, Tyrod Taylor looks like me, and I mentioned that before. So I'm gonna go with Texas just because Tyrod Taylor looks like me. I have really no interest in this game at all for fantasy football purposes. But no, all jokes aside, I think the Jets definitely do win this game. Zach Wilson being back is definitely going to fuel them a little bit. Elijah Moore has stepped up. I'm curious to know how he looks with the fingers, because he did have finger surgery. But I think the Jets just have more weapons. I would not be surprised if Brandon Cooks got off. Brandon Cooks, I think, is going to have a strong game. But I'm feeling a 23-20 type of game. It'll be low scoring, some defense here or there, but some big plays that'll be given up. So 23-20 Jets.
Kendall?
He's on mute.
Come on, Stetson Bennett. What are you doing?
Going to Jets in the close one.
All right. Give me the Texans and give me the over. All right, next game. Philadelphia Eagles visiting the New York Football Giants. Right now, the Eagles are 4-point favorites. Under over is 45.
I'll go. I like the Eagles. The Giants just fired Jason Garrett. We have no idea how their offense is going to look. We never have any idea how the Giants' offense is going to look. The Eagles have actually been winning, and they've been looking impressive winning, and they found a formula to kind of help Jalen out a little bit, running the ball. You got to keep steady with running the ball a little bit. I think the Giants are kind of in disarray a little bit. I'm going to go Eagles. I'm probably going to go 30-17-ish.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go and say right now the strongest team in the actual NFC East is the Philadelphia Eagles. So Eagles are going to win they're going to win by a good margin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles too. I think Eagles win by a large margin. I got 30-20, honestly. And I think currently, even though the Eagles aren't as good as we may think they are, or as bad as we may think they are, they're kind of exactly where they need to be. If you look at where that roster's at, and them being able to make the most of what they have right now. I like the formula that they used against the Saints running the ball last week. I don't know if they're necessarily going to do that against the Giants this week. But, yeah, the Giants has got too much going on right now. You got a lame duck head coach, lame duck GM, lame duck quarterback. You have a running back who's probably destined to make $20 million a year, but you don't want to give him that. You just broke the bank on a injured wide receiver who can't stay on the field, and Kenny Galladay. Your 2 and your 3 wide receivers can't even stay on the field, and Slayton and Shepard. So everything is busted in New York right now. I'm running with the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles as well. And then Coach Jackson chiming in 30-14. Give Jalen Hurts his flowers.
Woo!
Get them rose petals out.
Give me the Eagles. I'm going to the Eagles in a big one.
Now, let me ask you something real quick about this. So let's just assume that the Eagles go in there and they destroy the Giants. Do they fire Joe Judge in the middle of the season?
They're just so radical enough to do it.
And the reason why I'm asking you guys this question is because reports came out earlier today that Dave Gettleman is going to be out at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, if you consider what your job is, what your brand is, they're the New York Giants. You know, even though they kind of suck right now, but they do have championship pedigree, and they're the freaking New York Giants. So who wouldn't listen to that job offer, whether it was a collegiate coach or an NFL coach or assistant coach, whoever. So if you want to get an early jump on the hiring process, hell, why not? I mean, everything's busted for what it is right now. So if you can get the new guy in right after the Super Bowl and get a jump on this, because they got a lot of stuff contract-wise to figure out.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, you need somebody to lead the team the rest of the way. So if you're going to get rid of Gettleman, I mean, you say you saw those reports for Gettleman out early?
End of the year.
End of the year?
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because usually I think, when you have a general manager and you have a coach, they're kind of like hand in hand, so it'd be kind of hard to get rid of the coach right now. I think if anything, the coach is going to look for scapegoats and his continue to look for scapegoats in his coordinators or positional groups.
All right, and so I do like the Eagles and I like the over, which is 45. All right, next game. I think this might be game of the day. Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite. Over and under is 53 points.
I'm gonna go with Tampa in a close one. I think it's gonna go to overtime. I'm going 30-27 Tampa.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa too. I'm going with a high scoring game as well, 36-32. I think the Colts run the ball well enough to keep that keep that Tampa Bay offense, pretty much at bay for the most part. They've played well. They've gotten better, especially in the secondary, that Colts secondary over the past few weeks. The linebacking core has been a lot better. They've always been done pretty well against tight ends. So I expect that situation to be kind of a wash right there. So I will take Tampa Bay. I think they just got just enough more firepower offensively because we understand the Colts really aren't that explosive in the passing game. So I think most of the Colts points will generate from being able to run the football, and if they can generate turnovers. So I got Tampa in a close game, 36-32.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, this is a really close game. And, I mean, Jonathan Taylor is on fire right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and right for whatever reason, the Buccaneers were expected to be a top 5 defense, and they had struggles all over the field, right? I mean, number one, their corners can't stay healthy. So you can expect Michael Pittman to kind of, have a good day. And last week we saw Jonathan Taylor. It didn't from the way he was running, it looked like it didn't matter who he was lined up against. He was going to shred him, and he was going to. What was it? 5 TDs he scored.
Yeah,
he almost
4.
It was 5.
Five.
He almost had 6. I think he almost tied the record. So, I think that this defense, though, the Colts defense is kind of like that's the tricky part because they're stronger at stopping the run. I think that they will give up the points on the passing game, but this Colts team and Carson Wentz have been looking like they're turning a page where they're becoming to gel together, and that's a good combination right there. And when you have a solid defense that can, completely take one phase out of the game, even though the Buccaneers, they don't need no rushing game, right? They want a Super Bowl without no rushing attack. But It's gonna be a very close game. Give me the under and give me the Bucks, but it's gonna be a very tight game. I think the Colts are gonna give them a good run for the money.
Let me ask you guys something. Is Jonathan Taylor, should he be an MVP consideration?
Yes.
Oh yes.
That's my MVP so far because
Yeah.
I can't. I know it's a quarterback-driven award, but it's like all these quarterbacks haven't been consistent enough for me to say they should win MVP. This guy's been consistent each week, and if the Colts somehow overlap and get into the playoffs, he should be considered MVP.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of like it just strictly being quarterbacks. It definitely should go to the best player, and Jonathan Taylor has been the best player.
I need to ask you something.
Yeah.
Next year is he the top fantasy player on everybody's draft boards?
He should be. I mean, he definitely should be at this point. He's young. Walt had mentioned earlier, he did have a lot of tread on his tire. But I don't. The biggest question when it comes to these players, like when you draft them, is injuries. Because you can't control injuries. You can never predict an injury. But he's been pretty stable. And he's a guy that you could trust. And the Colts, they do have little scat bats out of the backfield that kind of spell him sometimes. In the Nyheim Hines and stuff like that. So I like the way that the Colts offense looks. I like Michael Pittman. A lot of people forget his dad actually played for the Bucs, so this is kind of a homecoming for him a little bit. So I could see Michael Pittman going off today and having a really strong game. I think him and Mike Evans are the two guys in this game for fantasy purposes that I'm looking at to have big games, to have strong games. But I am looking at Tampa to win this. Like you guys said, high scoring affair. I could see overtime, like Kendall said, but I like 30-27. I think that's a fair, amount, a fair number to go with, but I do like Jonathan Taylor and I wouldn't sleep on him for MVP. It's not just a quarterback award. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if the Colts are going to win this game, I think they're going to need a big day from Carson Wentz and Michael Pittman Jr. The Tampa Bay is going to be expecting the run, right? So, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to clamp to stop the run. So if they eliminate the running game, they got to pass the ball. So, I mean, I like Tampa still in this game, and I like the over at 53.
Even though Carson Wentz runs like what do you think Carson Wentz runs in the 40-yard dash? Well, I mean, last week he was getting some first downs, man, but man, that looked like the slowest 15-yard gain I've seen by a quarterback in years, man.
Yeah. Carson just ain't the same guy no more, man.
Carson,
you guys see the Tom Brady run on Monday night?
Oh yeah, that Tom Brady also. Yeah, his was 16 yards, right? Because he corrected somebody about that. So
he needed a Medicaid patch on the side of his jersey. It's like on 2K we got the Gatorade logo. Like he needed the little. He's gone.
All right. Next game, Atlanta Falcons visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, the Atlanta Falcons are 1.5-point favorites. Over is 46 points.
Man, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Oh,
man, listen.
I was gonna say this right now, man.
Trevor, my guy, man. I'm always pulling for Trevor, regardless of who his head coach is, man. Next season after that, Trevor, my guy. Trevor been my guy for years, man. Trevor been steadily getting better each week, despite the fact they've had some guys beat up around him. Really like James Robinson, man. Give that man his respect. Pay that man. Y'all winning. Y'all wasted the first-round pick, I thought, on Travis Etienne because they felt that if James Robinson was a first-round pick last season, they would have gave him his respect. But since he wasn't, they went out and they drafted a guy to replace him. Now what did James Robinson do? Etienne got hurt in the preseason. This man went out. He's pretty much been do everything back. Blocking wise, running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. I'm riding with him.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville in a close one.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville also.
Yeah, I agree with everything Walt said. The Atlanta hasn't looked good at all the last couple of weeks. They looked bad. So, yeah, Jacksonville in a close one. Probably 17-13.
Give me the Dirty Birds and give me the under.
He took the Falcons. How dare you, man?
Yeah, I don't trust
Dirty Birds.
Falcons, man.
All right, next game. Carolina Panthers visiting the Miami Dolphins. Right now, the Carolina Panthers are a 1-point favorite. Under and over on this matchup is 41.
I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think the Dolphins won like 3 or 4 straight, haven't they?
Yeah, they won 3 or 4.
The Dolphins, they playing it, yeah. So I'm gonna go with this Carolina has to have this game. They had a game last week against Washington, but I don't know what happened to the Carolina defense. I'm going with the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, this game right here is a good game right here, man. I'm gonna let somebody go ahead of me though.
I think this is officially Cam's coming out party. Third week in offense, he kind of has it. It's tough because the Miami defense has looked really strong over the last few weeks. They really have. But I think the Wild Boy goes off. What is it, the Island Boy?
Island Boy.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson gets in the end zone this game. I think.
Real quick, but to me, it looks like more from the guy. Don't be a menace.
I've always thought of that. Do we have a problem? He's gonna have a problem today. He's gonna give the Dolphins a problem today. I think so. And Christian McCaffrey's gonna give the Dolphins defense, I think, a problem today. The Dolphins have looked good, but this is a must win for the Panthers if they have any hopes for the playoffs. So I go high scoring. I'm gonna say 27-23 Panthers.
I think this is actually going to be an ugly game, and I do think though the Panthers are going to come away. I think that it just when you look at Tua and you look at Cam, who do you trust more to come away with that clutch play to win the game at the end? I like Cam because Cam's just a playmaker. He's just going to make plays. That's all he's ever done is make plays. He sacrificed his body to get that first down or that touchdown, and I can kind of foresee that. So give me the Panthers in a very ugly game.
Give me the Carolina Island Boys. I'll go with the over 41.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Carolina too. I think when I look at how well the Dolphins have been playing over the past few weeks, you gotta look at some of the offenses they've been actually went up against. Also, I think Carolina has enough weapons offensively. DJ Moore is a problem. He ain't getting his respect. Not talk about him and Terry McLaurin. Like, give both of them dudes their respect. They some problems out here.
Yeah,
DJ has really developed. I think he's more in a spot right now to help Cam now because first time around when Cam had him, he was a rookie. But now he's got a much more polished, much bigger threat of a wide receiver in DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson still out there. You got McCaffrey. So give me Carolina. I think also this is Cam's coming out party.
All right, Pitts. Go ahead, Jer.
No, I loving it. I'm loving this stuff, man.
All right, next game. Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, the Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Over is 43.5.
Oh man!
Give me Cincinnati,
dude. This is a good game. This is a good game right here, man.
And I'll take them to cover, man.
My gut says Cincinnati. My head says Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go with my head. I'm going with Steelers.
Same. I kind of think Pittsburgh because they get their defenders back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be the key because I want to know how good the Steelers defense really is. They have the skill talent. TJ Watt might be defensive player of the year. I don't know, but they have a strong enough defense, but they just haven't looked strong. And a lot of it because they've been injured. They haven't had their guys. So I'm curious. I think the Steelers might pull this out. I think this is going to be a big Najee Harris game. I'm looking 23-17.
Hey, we talked about this, right? About next year's fantasy running backs, and you just named another name right there, Najee Harris, man. You got that first pick next year. Who are you going?
I like Taylor.
Taylor over Najee Harris. But you know what, man? Everybody knows, and everybody knows here that my favorite quarterback in the NFL right now is who?
Burrow?
Yes.
I was about to say, I hope it's not Ben.
No, it's Joe Burrow, man. To me, I love his game. He's never out of the game, if that makes any sense. And he has the weapons around him. I understand they need to fix that offensive line, and once they do, we got to take these Bengals seriously. I mean, this Bengals team is very scary. But give me the Bengals in a very close game. Give me over on this one.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. What could be a big issue in this game too for Burrow is the fact that he's turned the ball over a lot this season through the air, and I think a lot of it is coming from him feeling pressure to force his boy to football.
Yeah,
but I think Hayden is out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hayden's out.
So
But you know what though? What's good, what's very beneficial for them is the fact that they're giving Mixon the ball.
yes,
If Mixon can stay healthy, man, that's 6'1", 220
man, he is
with
something
4.4
special.
speed,
He is
man. And
special.
yes. So if they can keep him healthy and incorporate Joe a lot more in the offense, that just makes everything else better because Burrow for damn sure got the weapons on the outside, multiple weapons. That ain't the problem. You know, they just got to get Joe Mixon more involved.
I like the Steelers in this game, and give me the over on 43.5.
You've always been a big Ben guy, so
It's just look. I mean, last weekend they had a very close game against the Chargers that they should have won, and they had without their star defensive players, they get them back this week.
yeah,
I like Pittsburgh.
yeah. Well, but
All right, next.
if the Bengals win, I mean, dang, what's the press gonna say the next morning? That's what I want to know.
We'll see. I don't think that's gonna happen, but they'll definitely have some questions to answer in Pittsburgh. All right, next game. Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Denver Broncos. Right now, the Chargers are 3-point favorites. Under over is 47.
Man, give me the Chargers. I think that they're going to ride off of the momentum from last week's game. That was a big game. That's one of those confidence-building games for them. I think that overall, when you look at it, I think that they've learned that, you know what, we need to get Mike Williams more involved. That's how you slow down a Broncos defense that can shut it down.
Yeah, I'll take the same thing. I take the Chargers on the over. The one thing that I'm gonna say though, Denver needs to run the ball a little bit more because the Chargers can't stop the run very well. And you have two guys in Javonte Williams and Gordon that you should use. They don't really use. They just gave Cortland Sutton that huge contract this week, and they don't use Cortland Sutton at all. Have no idea why. But play action. If you run the ball, you can set up some shots, play action down the field to your guys. You got the weapons. They have a great tight end, a great, two great wide receivers. It's just not. I don't understand it. So the Denver Broncos offense is so weird to me. But that to me, that's their best chance of winning the game is running the ball, keeping the ball on the ground, setting up some play actions, and taking shots down the field. But I do like the Chargers in this game eventually.
Yeah. I'll take the Chargers too. I'm not as locked in on it as everybody else, given the fact that it's a divisional game. These teams always play each other extremely close. It's in Denver. Of course, it's a 4:00 start. Going back to what I said earlier about the Denver Broncos offense, they get very solid run ball control. They just don't score enough. But if they can force Herbert and that offense into some turnovers, now we're looking at a completely different game. So I'm going to take the Chargers, but I'm going to take the under. I think it's going to be a real close game.
Give me the Broncos at home and give me the under.
Ooh, that boy took the Broncos.
I did.
Don't try to slide that in there at the last second like it wasn't big, like it wasn't major or something. I don't
The Broncos need this game too. They need it bad.
He's going with the Broncos because he need the Broncos to win because the Chargers are ahead.
Well, I mean, it's only a game though, so I mean, I really don't need them. I just need the Raiders to keep winning. Don't worry about anyone. But I do think Denver they are coming off a bye week, correct?
Just to kind of add though, real quick, what Terrion was saying, they have double of everything. They have double tight ends that are good, Albert O and Noah Fant, and then they got double running backs, right? With
Javonte
Williams, and man, only they used him a little bit more. I think Melvin Gordon, and they have how many wide receivers? Tim Patrick now got a contract extension. Jared
Judy.
Sutton and KJ Hamler. They just need an offensive line and a quarterback.
And Bradley Chubb is back for the Denver defense, and that's going to help out.
Well, there you go. I mean, they'll have Aaron Rodgers next season, man. They'll be fine.
I've been saying that. I do believe that's true.
It looks like,
man, if it happens, boy, man, Fidel about to fall out that seat.
I do believe that. I hate to say it, but I believe it.
Man, that would be scary. That would be scary. I think some records would be shattered.
But if that happens, right, our counter, we're gonna get Devontae Adams. Boom.
That's right.
Well, that's true.
Wow. You got your boy over here.
Yeah.
All right, next game. Minnesota Vikings visiting the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara.
Woohoo!
Right now, the Niners are 3.5-point favorites. Under/over is 49.
Man, but
Foolish.
the Vikings have been on a hot streak, man.
Yeah, boy.
This is sneaky good game right here. This is a real good game. I'll pay attention to it if I'm everybody.
This is a
I'm gonna
playoff
go
game.
with the Vikings.
Yep.
Yes, I'm going with the Vikings in a close one. I'm gonna go 27-24.
Give me the Vikings, but in a big way, man. Not a close game. It's gonna be big, man. It's gonna be a lot of points on the board.
This is my game of the week. However, I don't know how emotionally invested the Vikings are going to be since the Everson Griffin thing. I don't know if they're going to be high or low. Being a Raider fan, every story like this just confuses me. It makes me just like wary of things. But I think it's going to be a very high scoring affair. I think the 49ers will eventually end up pulling it out. Like I mentioned in my fantasy report, I think Brandon Ayuk has a big game. The Viking secondary, for some reason, lets up big plays down the field. And I think it's going to be one of those. And Kirk Cousins has had a secretly, silently good year. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, and he's been throwing a lot of interceptions. I think his count is like 21-3, something like that. He's got the yardage. So it's going to be a sneaky good game for Kirk Cousins, like it has been all year. I'm going definitely over, and I think it's going to be my game of the week for sure.
You had the 49ers, though.
Oh, no, I have the Vikings. Oh,
okay.
No, I have the 49ers. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have 49ers.
Oh, you're going 49ers.
I'm going 49ers. Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah.
All right. Right there, you.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. High scoring game. I'm going to say 39-34. Cousins been hot. Like Cousins and Jefferson and Thielen been scorching hot the last few weeks. Jefferson's looking like one of the 5 best wide receivers in football this season. Cook is still doing what Cook do. He's still cooking out the backfield.
Yep.
It's been hard to really stop that offense. Frisco, they got what they got going right now. Debo is nothing but a glorified running back now. I just find it crazy that man had more carries than catches, was it last week? But, yeah, I'm going high-scoring game. Vikings pull it out 39-34.
I love Minnesota in this game. I really do. I think Justin Jefferson has a huge game. Kirk does as well, of course, because he's going to have to give him the ball. Yeah, I like Minnesota, and I like the over at 49.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, and then now to the showdown at Lambeau Field. Los Angeles Rams visiting the Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Rams are 2-point favorites. Under/over is 47, and it is going to be 36 degrees in Green Bay.
I'm going with Green Bay, going with the under.
This is the icy hot game for me because both quarterbacks need icy hot because Derek. I was going to say Derek Carr. Aaron Rodgers' toe is messed up, and the reports today is Matthew Stafford, his neck, his back, and his back, everything hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is one of them games to where like I've never been a big fan of the Rams coach, never, because he doesn't run the ball. Like this is the game where you're going to need to run the ball a little bit because your quarterback is hurt. But for some reason, they lead the NFL in shotgun attempts. They line up in shotgun like 30 times a game. Like that's the most in the league. And this is one of them games to where you kind of want to run the ball because I feel like that's what Green Bay is going to do. I think it's going to be a big A.J. Dillon game, and his McVay's confidence of throwing the ball and wanting to be air raid is going to come back and haunt him in this game. And I think the Packers are going to pull it out. But you got to run the ball. I want to see more Darrell Henderson than I do Matthew Stafford to save him, but I probably don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay too. I think it's going to be a close game, and then Green Bay maybe kind of opens it up a little later on. But, yeah, I just think that Green Bay secondary has played very well this season, quiet as kept. Like I said, and Stokes was a first-round pick, a late first-round pick. He's starting to show exactly why. That boy's fast. He covers so much ground. He covers so much ground in a hurry. Kind of Deion Sanders-esque. But, yeah, I think that Green Bay's got it going right now. They're at home right now. Stafford's beat up. They refuse to run the football. And I think Green Bay's secondary matches up with those wide receivers just well. So I'm taking Green Bay at home, and I'll take the over.
Yeah, Green Bay is weird, man. I mean, was it last week? Was it last week that I said, man, I expect Green Bay to win big, and it was totally opposite, like off script, I guess. So Green Bay is becoming one of those teams that I am not trusting. But then we find out, of course, with the Aaron Rodgers toe situation, and then look at the Rams, man. The Rams. I mean, I don't know what the heck is going on with Matt Stafford. He looks lost. He looks like he's back in Detroit. You know what I mean? So this is an ugly game, I think, overall. But if I have to trust somebody, it's gonna be it's give me the under. I don't think it's gonna be one of them high scoring games, and give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to find a way to pull it off.
Go Pack, go! Give me the Packers, and I like the under as well. All right, and now for Sunday night football action, the Cleveland Browns visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Right now, the Ravens are 3-point favorites. Under over is 47 points.
Crazy.
Question: Lamar playing?
Yes,
Yep.
he is.
Okay.
Marquise
I'm
Brown
gonna go with
playing
the
also,
Browns.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Browns because I need the Browns to win. If the Browns win and my Patriots win, we're number one seed in the AFC.
Man,
That ain't
So
happening today,
I'm
man.
gonna go with Cleveland. I need you.
no, I'm taking Baltimore, man. Baltimore got their guy back under center.
Yeah,
The
safe
Browns
to
got
say,
too many injuries going on.
Yeah,
Browns
Safe
got
to
too
say.
many injuries. Huh?
Everyone else picking Baltimore, right? I don't think
Yeah,
anybody else
Baltimore.
will pick
yeah,
the Browns.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, look at what they did with their backup Huntley, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they look. I mean, it looks like anybody can play quarterback in that offense.
They know how to win games.
They know how to win games.
I think Baker's gonna have a long night tonight in Baltimore. I really
Well,
do.
I think Peoples-Jones is still questionable also.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
reports are coming out saying that the locker room is ready to turn on Baker.
Yep.
It's just not a good
That's not good.
situation.
I saw that
Yeah.
report. I saw that report. I read it, and they saying it wasn't OBJ. It was Baker that's torn that he has torn
Damn.
up that locker room. So
That's
I mean,
crazy.
that's crazy.
Man, it's
Browns.
Cleveland, man. Is it Baker or is it Cleveland? Every
Uh,
single quarterback is failing there or has failed. We thought Baker was going to be the guy after his rookie year, but look what happened to him.
I just, man, I mean, kind of like you already know who Baker was coming out of college. I mean, he's the one who's grabbing his balls there, showing them to.
He's polarizing.
He is very
Yeah.
polarizing. He's there. He's there showing off his package off to what was it, Kansas State. He went and planted the flag after they beat the Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
He ran from a cop.
yeah. And that was right before
Bro.
that was right before he got drafted too, man.
And
I
still
mean,
went number one
I'm going to
overall.
continue to say this. He has more commercials than touchdowns.
yes, he does, man. It's insane, man.
Every dude, I can watch anything, and Baker Mayfield's going to
Man,
be the commercial.
let me ask you all this: Is Baker's name going on that T-shirt?
Ooh.
Y'all know all about the Cleveland Browns T-shirt, right?
Sure do. And yep, I think he is.
I look. This is going to be an interesting storyline for lack of better terms. I think for the offseason, because is he going to get that big time money?
No way.
From
No.
Cleveland.
Absolutely not.
No.
Cleveland.
Is Cleveland boxed in though? Like, I mean, what other options do you have? No quarterback in the league is going to come there and play there
No.
more than likely.
I think it's going to be a Kirk Cousins Washington football team type of deal, where you're just going to like 1 year deal him to death until you just are tired of 1 year dealing him to death.
Wow. But then how would you get a franchise quarterback to come play if you don't have that high draft capital? That's
Process.
what, that's kind of like where Cleveland is stuck at right now.
Because the guy they took at number one is kind of like not panning out. I mean, who else was it really for them to take? Like, they weren't going to take Lamar. We all know where Lamar ended up going.
Yeah.
But they had him, Darnold. Who else was on the board?
Josh Allen.
Josh
yeah,
Allen.
Josh. Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Josh had the most promise.
even
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson
I think
were
Rosen
both
was
two big balls of clay.
I
And they
think-
both had the most promise, and they both turned out to be the best.
Wasn't Rosen a part of that draft class too?
Oh, yeah, Chosen Rosen. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Chosen Rosen.
That boy said, man, I'm making a T-shirt and I'm putting everybody's name on it.
Talking about the guy that threw back-to-back picks on his
Yeah.
throws when he went in. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Moving along. Last game, Monday Night Football. Seattle Seahawks visiting the Washington football team. Right now, the Seahawks are a 1-point favorite, and over/under is 46.5.
I'll
I'm
take
a,
I'll take Washington, and I'll take Washington the big. I think some bad things are going on in Seattle right now. It's more than just Russell and not having that much needed chemistry with his wide receivers and the hand. I think there's a lot more going on. That defense is bad too. That defense is bad, and if you can't keep Terry McLaurin on the wraps, you have no chance against Heineke because statistics prove it. If you can lock down McLaurin, he pretty much can't do anything else. But if they allow McLaurin to just run wild, it's over with. So I'll take Washington, and I'll take Washington big.
So here's a hot take.
Washington, right?
Here's a hot take real quick, right? We just mentioned Baker Mayfield. What if we see a swap, Russ and Baker?
That's what we just talked about before we came on the live.
Because I can't see Russ wanting to come back. The offense has been bad. Like it's been bad. The Seahawks offense currently fits Baker more, and it's just and the Browns offense.
I can't see Russ and his wife wanting to be in Cleveland though.
Nobody wants to be in Cleveland. I
don't see.
How
that
about Joe
happening.
Noah? What's in Cleveland, right? But
Well, I mean, what's in Cleveland? Well, what's in Ohio is the actual Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but he's married to
the
Sierra.
Browns have people in there.
I mean,
besides,
not only that, but I mean, it's a very nostalgic city. I mean, that's exact. I think that's where football was invented. No,
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland too.
I can't see Russ being there.
Well,
I really can't.
I think it's all set up for probably one of the New York teams.
Yeah.
If you look at
New
all
York
the
Giants.
teams in the first round of the draft, they got multiple picks. The Eagles have multiple picks. They got 3. Seattle has actually Seattle's pick goes to the New York Jets, matter of fact. So the Jets have 2 top 10 picks. The Giants have 2 top 10 picks. So
Deshaun,
I can see
one of them, Deshaun.
Yeah, him too. So yeah, it's Cleveland though. Russ ain't going to Cleveland. He ain't taking Sierra to Cleveland.
No, he's not. They're not going to be chilling by Lake Erie. Sorry.
But yeah, but anyways, not to get off track. I just don't. I think this is definitely could be Russ's last year in Seattle. This offense isn't good. He's asked for input in the past on offensive decisions. Just he's not getting it. They're not scoring any points. They still haven't. It's just it's hard to go against a team. I think that there's more going on that's being let out. Pete Carroll, just the way he walked off the press conference last week. There's a lot of stuff going on internal, so that's why I would go with Washington. But it just made me think of that. I was like, since we talked about 2 disgruntled quarterbacks, could they swap?
Give me Washington. I think Tyler Heineke he's finding ways to get the ball to his playmakers. So give me Washington.
I'm gonna go with Seattle in a close one.
I'm going with Seattle as well, and give me the over. All right, and before we end today's live stream, do you guys have a bold prediction you would like to make?
Yes, I do have one. Everybody thinking the Patriots going to blow out the Titans. I think this game is going to be a close one. The Patriots going to win, but it's going to be a close one. Come down to a game-winning field goal, 16-13. I'm going to change my score prediction for the Patriots, 16-13.
I would say Zach Wilson actually looks like he's going to put up some big numbers. Give me close 275 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. All passing.
Mine is we're going to learn the Rams' backup quarterback's name today because I don't know who he is. And I think America will because I don't wish injury on anybody, but I think Stafford might be out a couple of plays, because he's going to end up something's going to happen. So.
I was looking for the report, because it said his ankle and what was his back, his neck. What was it?
His strong arm, his neck, his ankle, back, chronic
his
back
nose,
pain.
His eyelid.
Man,
his wife threw him pretzels at the opposite fans.
Everything.
He's broken. He's a broken player.
He's broken.
No refunds.
That's medical Matt.
No backsies.
Hey, Walt, you used to all these problems with Matthew Stafford, though, ain't you?
No, he beat up, man. He been suffering from that back injury for the last 2-3 seasons, man.
Was that the one that he got when he was like a rookie?
No, he suffered that back injury. I could have sworn it was the season. I think it was Jim Caldwell's final season. But he been going back and forth with that for a minute, man. But My bold prediction, I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence has a monster day.
Nice.
Against that Atlanta Falcons secondary. I'm talking 370 plus, 3 touchdowns plus.
Nice.
My bold prediction: Justin Jefferson over 150 yards receiving.
That ain't bold. He giving
That's bold.
everybody that work, man.
All right, over 180 then. That's bold. Is that bold enough
No,
for you?
he give people 200 every now and then, man. Go extra bold. Give Calvin Johnson's 300
Wait,
yards.
how many gritties? How many gritties?
He did have a Randy Moss shirt on last week, so that just shows you that's who he's chasing.
Yep.
Shout out to Adam Thielen too, man. He don't get no respect, no
No,
mentions, but
hey,
Thielen, that
he's
guy
a
good
too.
receiver too.
He's a dog, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL.
I think so.
Up there.
Yep. All right. With that being said, thank you everyone out there for watching us. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.